Welcome to Dr. Jaya's Virtual School, Lloyd Level 5 Non-Academic Week. Welcome to Dr. Jaya's Virtual School, Lloyd program, academic week programs you have done, and we want you to do your self-evaluation during the non-academic week. Welcome to non-academic week session where you will be writing half an hour on each day about the concepts which you have learned in the academic week, and then do the learning package where you have listening comprehension, speaking exercises, poem, story, vocabulary, and 8-letter words from A to Z, and also do the journal. Along with this, you will be doing your developmental activities. Welcome to Dr. Jaya's Virtual School, Lloyd Level 5 Non-Academic Week, Language Skills, Listening. Congratulations, teacher. Submitted by Daffodil, author Daffodil. Someday, when you are teaching and a snotty little nose comes running to the teacher's desk and germs to you expose, when little Johnny cuts a shine, cause Billy's in his seat and Annie's crying great big sobs from tripping over Joe's feet. And when you are on the playground, when two kids get in a fight, remember you must keep your cool, cause you got to treat them right. Then when you finish playing referee and you see kids in the mud and poor Julie's fallen off the swing and her nose is dripping blood. Then in the lunchroom, food comes flying, cause it's fun to play with food. Remind yourself you are having fun, you are loving what you do. Now back in class, someone gets sick and talk is everywhere. Kids are laughing, some are gagging, while teacher stands and stares. What have I gotten into? You ask from time to time, especially when it's afternoon and kids begin to whine. Just remember your excitement when you passed your test that day, proving you could be a teacher, a referee, or come what may. So lots of luck I send to you to handle every test a patient teacher's heaven sent. I know you will be the best. Dear students, this is a exercise for listening about a teacher. Listening skill, understand what it is. From this listening exercise, pick up the vocabulary words and play spelling bee. This tells you about the achievement of a person who became a teacher. So on achievement, pick up all the words and vocabulary words and play spelling bee. Speaking. Micro skills involved in speaking. The speaker has to pronounce the distinctive sounds of a language clearly enough so that people can distinguish them. This includes making tonal distinctions. Here is a speaking exercise on adventure, life, a mystery. Author Tarika, submitted by Joffier. Here is achievement and adventure. Student life. Life is an adventure in experience, to be handled with great reverence, our anatomy being the temporary tent for the soul, with which we play a great role. People say life is a drama, but be careful, it shouldn't end up in a trauma. Sometimes giving you joy and fun, at times seems to be a pun. Follow what great men say. They will help you to make your way. Accept everything without a name. Success follows you each and every day. The established path do not sail. Instead, go where there is no path and leave a trail. Fight every day and work to improve. One or the other day all souls will approve. Remember, when you no longer greedy for the last drop of your life, you have set your face to the day when you shall depart. By Tarika R. Dear friends, speak this, you make up your own exposition on achievement or adventure, adventurous achievement, and pronounce the distinctive sounds of a language, the language clearly enough so that the people can distinguish them, and include tonal distinctions like conduct, conduct. Do the exercise in your workbook. Poem Rising with Dignity. Author Renu Shukhani, submitted by Renu Shukhani. It is nice to hear about achievements. The well-wishers would feel happy to find out about those who have succeeded. With this, we can come into agreement that the motivation from those who have succeeded, for who are still striving, is sometimes needed. Most complain about their daily routine. Well, are you trying to gain some sympathy? Smile works as vaccine. Being envious only speeds vapidity and builds acidity. Yes, respect is earned and not demanded. So stop comparing yourself with others. It's okay if the purpose is to revive what is neglected, but do not pollute the lives full of colors. So, dear friends, this is a poem on achievement. So you write few lines and also understand what you are asking for. What is this achievement? So get achievement what you want through your words. Story Butterflies, Togadine Kissel. There was a time in my life when beauty meant something special to me. I guess that would have been when I was about 6 or 7 years old, just several weeks or maybe a month before the orphanage turned me into an old man. I would get up every morning at the orphanage, make my bed just like the little soldier that I had become, and then I would get into one of the two straight lines and march to breakfast with the other 20 or 30 boys who also lived in my dormitory. After breakfast one Saturday morning, I entered to the dormitory and saw the house parent chasing the beautiful monarch butterflies who lived by the hundreds in the dahlia bushes strewn around the orphanage. I carefully watched as he caught these beautiful creatures one after the other and then took them from the net and then stuck straight pins through their head and wings, pinning them onto a heavy cardboard sheet. How cruel it was to kill something of such beauty. I had walked many times out into the bushes all by myself, just so the butterflies could land on my head, face and hand so I could look at them up close. When the telephone rang, the house parent laid the large cardboard paper down on the back cement step and went inside to answer the phone. I walked up to the cardboard and looked at the one butterfly who he had just pinned to the large paper. It was still moving about, so I reached down and touched it on the wing, causing one of the pins to fall out. It started flying around and around trying to get away, but it was still pinned by the one wing with the other straight pin. Finally, its wing broke off and the butterfly fell to the ground and just quivered. I picked up the torn wing and the butterfly and I spat on its wing and tried to get it to stick back on so it could fly away and be free before the house parent came back, but it would not stay on him. The next thing I knew, the house parent came walking back out of the back door by the garbage room and started yelling at me. I told him that I did not do anything, but he did not believe me. He picked up the cardboard paper and started hitting me on the top of the head. There were all kinds of butterfly pieces going everywhere. He threw the cardboard down on the ground and told me to pick it up and put it in the garbage can inside the back room of the dormitory, and then he left. I sat there in the dirt by that big old tree for the longest time, trying to fit all the butterfly pieces back together so I could bury them whole, but it was too hard to do. So I prayed for them and then I put them in an old torn up shoe box and I buried them in the bottom of the fort that I had built it in the ground out by the large bamboos near the blackberry bushes. Every year when the butterflies would return to the orphanage and try to land on me, I would try and shoo them away because they did not know that the orphanage was a bad place to live and a very bad place to die. Dear friends, this is an experience of the writer. You write your experience with butterflies, how you play with them, how you observe them, how the colors of butterfly helps you to understand, and write it in the workbook, your own story about butterflies. 8-letter words starting with A. Dear friends, there are thousands of words, 8-letter words starting with A. Here are few, like advoc, abscess, obedience, ablative, obligate, aboning, aborsive, abestus, abstract, abstruse, and academic, acadian, academia. So what you can do is learn the words as many as possible and type them on the computer. Here the vocabulary words that refer to people's behavior. Words that describe behavior in social situations. Many things can affect behavior, your mood, the people that you are around. Stress and your physical condition also have a bearing on your behavior. We are going to look at good socially accepted behavior and bad or out of control behavior words. Here are few words, like words that describe behavior that is good in social situations are caring, charming, considerate, enthusiastic, excitable, faithful, funny, kind, pleasant, polite, thoughtful. There are opposite kind of behavior. There is a list of words that refer to be bad social behavior. Aggressive, argumentative, bossy, deceitful, domineering, inconsiderate, irritating, manic, manipulative, thoughtless and spiteless, moody and rude. Words that describe personal behavior. There are few words which give you and the behavior is not affected very much by the company or situation, like active, ambitious, assertive, careless, cautious, conceited, conscientious, creative, curious, docile. Extroverted, impulsive, introverted, inventive, nervous, passive, perfectionist, pragmatic, always sees the practical side of things, reserved, serious, shy, trustworthy, volatile. Here are some words in general, behavior in general. Following are some words that refer to good behavior, right? Adaptable, brave, confident, cooperative, courageous, debonair, decisive, determined, generous, hilarious, honorable, kind, lively, pleasant, productive, protective, receptive, reflective, responsible, romantic, self-assured, sensitive, shrewd, unusual, witty, wonderful, genie, and jealous. Here are some more words which represent unruly or unacceptable behavior. Abrasive, abusive, angry, anxious, belligerent, boorish, cowardly, crazy, creepy, cruel, dangerous, defiant, erratic, finicky, flashy, flippant, foolish, furtive, guarded, jittery, malicious, mysterious, obnoxious, outrageous, panicky, secretive, strange, threatening, unsuitable, vengeful, and wary. Dear friends, don't ever behave in the way these words are saying. Don't ever behave. Follow the good behavior words. Writing journal is a good habit. So what you can do is, here let us understand the Disney characters. Disney has produced thousands of characters. Here are some of the names of the Disney characters starting with A. Abu is a Frank Welker, the original voice actor, and Aladdin is the animated debut. So like that, you have many words. Learn the words whichever character you like. There are thousands and thousands of characters. So whichever character you like, you pick up the character and write in your journal why you like that character and from when you have been observing this character and what you like in that character. Welcome to Dr. Jaya's virtual school. Lloyd, level 5, non-academic week 2, language skills. We will be discussing the various aspects on the adventure side. Listening. What Earth Day means to me. Let us go on an adventure on an Earth Day. What does it mean? In a haiku poem. What is a haiku poem? Haiku poems are a type of Japanese poetry which found acceptance as a legitimate art from more than 300 years ago, when the poet and former samurai warrior Basho devoted himself to the genre. By the mid-1800s, this style was thought to be on the wane in Japan, but for the efforts of Masako Shiki, an eminent poet and literary critic who revived interest in the form. The structure comprises 17 syllables arranged in 3 consecutive lines of 5, 7 and 5 syllables respectively. In actuality, this is the common English language form, as the Japanese syllables are slightly different. Dear friends, haiku is a very good poem for children. They can compose it like on nature, like sunflowers, butterflies, autumn leaf here, all are haiku poems. So let us see a haiku poem here. What Earth Day means to me in a haiku. It makes me ashamed, cause of crime and destruction Mother Earth suffers. But one day a year we help animals and care since nature is rare. If we cared for Earth, we will have a healthy nature, like on nature's birth. I wish that our world, our life, our space, our nature were one unity. Dear friends, go through this poem and do the exercise in the workbook. Speaking. My insect experience. In this, when you speak, use stress and rhythmic patterns of the language clearly enough so that people can understand what is said. Use also intonation patterns along with rhythmic patterns. Here is an exposition. My insect experience, submitted by Jejibal, author Jejibal. My insect experience. Today I saw the dragonfly come from the wells where he did lie. An inner impulse rent the veil of his old husk from head to tail. Came out clear plates of sapphire mail. He dried his wings like gauze they grew. Through crops and pastures wet with dew, a living flash of light he flew. Let us see how did the author did the adventure on the insects. He says, back on the times when I am still a young child, I often wander on the grassy area at the back of our school. I always go there at recess time away from the noisy playground of our school. I sit there quietly while enjoying the sweet smell of the pine tree being flown by the cool air. I remember it was August, that time, the month when dragonflies wander around showing their mighty wings. As a child with simple mind, I appreciated the dragonflies' membranous wings and how they fly so swiftly. I tried to run after them, but as I stretched my hand to grab it, I suddenly slipped. Tears began to fall from my eyes as I held my scratched knee. The dragonflies flew away with the wind. 7 years passed, and that incident was long forgotten. Until then, that I got entomology as my subject. My curiosity about insects was aroused, especially that of dragonflies. With the hands of time, my encounter with that mysterious creature was again repeated. My co-majors and I went to Tablet to assist the people there in making the history of their place. I placed a big smile on my face, realizing that I could catch many insects for our insect collection, and so, with that hidden motive in my mind, I got off my killing jar ready in my backpack. When we arrived at Tablet, dismay came to me when I found no insect. It's afternoon then, and my group decided to go in Publication Tablet. My heart jumped with joy when dragonflies began to welcome us on our way. We stopped by the take pictures, and I took the chance to catch some butterfly. I went out with my killing jar and began running after the creatures. 5 minutes passed, but not a single dragonfly was on my killing jar. I went back to the car with a heavy feeling and said to myself, God created those tiny creatures to live freely away from the murderous hands of predators. Let them live in a happiness, displaying the carefreeness of life. Let them soar with the wind and flow with the breeze. So, dear friends, you have listened what the author feels about the insects. So, you write your experience. You speak to your friend your experience about any insect. Poem Belong to the Ocean. Now this is a poem Belong to the Ocean submitted by Maddie. Author was Madison Sanchar. Belong to the ocean. There is a place in this world where we all belong, where we can be as free as the wind and as reckless as the waves. We could sleep on the sand and walk the shores, where the water will love us and we will care for it, where we can swim forever into the depths of the sea and explore the places where people have never been and share secrets with the cows and have a family of miles of seawater. see creatures of other worlds, and beautiful kelp forests. That's where I would be forever and ever. I wish I could be there, live there. Soon I will be at the sea and live with the creatures. Soon that will happen. See how adventurous the author felt? So you also going to work out on adventures and write about your adventure. Here is an adventurous story, a cockerel, a duck and the mermaids. A cockerel, a duck and the mermaids. A cockerel and a duck were arguing so much over whether mermaids exist or not that they decided to settle the matter once and for all by searching the bottom of the sea. They dived down, first seeing colorful fish, then medium-sized fish and large fish. Then they got too deep that they were in complete darkness and couldn't see a thing. Just see how adventurous is a cockerel and a duck. This made them terribly scared, so they returned to the surface. The cockerel was terrified and never wanted to return to the depths, but the duck encouraged him to keep trying. To calm the cockerel, this time the duck took a torch. They dived down again to the darkness, and when they started getting scared, they switched the torch on. When the darkness was lit up, they saw that they were totally surrounded by mermaids. The mermaids told them that they thought the cockerel and the duck did not like them. The previous time, the mermaids had been just about to invite their visitors to a big party, but the cockerel and the duck had quickly left. The mermaids were very happy to see that they had returned though, and thanks to that bravery and perseverance, the cockerel and the duck became great friends with the mermaids. So the value of this story is fear of the dark is not fear of anything real and can only prevent you from discovering interesting things. So be adventurous and don't be frightened of darkness. You will win, and who knows, even you might be able to see mermaids. 8-letter words starting with B. There are hundreds of words which start with B in 8 letters. For example, blabbers, blabbery, blabbling, babyhood, babyship, bachelor, backache, backbone, backdrop, backhill, backlist, backrest, backslid, backward, baconian, bacteria, bacterian, and bacterian, and backyard. Vocabulary. List of 57 things people want from life. There are various things people want from life. Let us see the materialistic things. Everybody wants a big house, nice car, fashionable clothes, plenty of money for dining out, a big enough budget for luxury travel, thin friends, an attractive spouse. Spouse means better half. What are the self-confidence things everybody wants? To neither look nor feel fat. To eat whatever you want without gaining weight. To hold own in a political conversation. To learn to dance without looking stupid. To be attractive as you age. To be the life of the party at least once. To know what you want and have the confidence to go after it. Then what are the things we need for adventurous things? In a life we need adventurous things. Visit every continent, speak a foreign language fluently, learn how to take professional photographs, go scrub a diving, cliff diving or skydiving, live in a beautiful serene place, wherever in a distance zone, go to a major sports championship like Wimbledon, pilot a plane, or spend New Year's in New York City. What are spiritual and emotional things we need in life? Have at least one true best friend. Feel relief from social judgment. Reconcile with an enemy. Be recommended in a positive way after death. Know that you made a difference in someone else's life. Feel important to others. Know yourself and feel centered. Live each day without regret. Avoid self-limiting thoughts. Then what are career-related things we need? Reach a stable level of success that makes you untouchable. Create a positive work-life balance. Feel as capable as others think you are. Be more productive with each minute of the day. Be recognized as talented or even brilliant. Pursue your calling while supporting your family financially. Publish a book. Make enough money to care for aging parents. Write a screenplay that gets picked up as a movie. Sometimes even now launch a website. What are the things we need for lifestyle? The lifestyle things are: start every morning with a leisurely cup of coffee instead a rushed chugged one. Travel the country in an RV. Have satisfying regular work. Not be afraid of any intimacy. Have many children and grandchildren. Stay married to the same person. Find meaningful work. Find the best piece of pie ever. Give your dog a really happy life. Have a healthy things. What are the healthy things? Grow old without losing your mind or control of your body. Recover from a painful or deliberating disease. Not die from a painful or deliberating disease. Have a plenty of energy to enjoy each day. Age gracefully without wrinkles and without going bald. Find a way to enjoy exercise. Finish a marathon or an Ironman triathlon. So all these are the things which we feel we should have, and learn this vocabulary what you need for life. Journal. First grade memories. Every individual will remember and like their first grade memories. So take up your journal and write about first grade memories of yours. Here is an example. First grade memories by Rachel Myerson. As you progress through school, you are going to want to preserve all the best memories on your scrapbook pages. With each increasing year, it gets more difficult to get into the classroom and get the photos. So you will want to make sure you enjoy scrapping these younger years. First grade is a very special year. Here are some suggestions to make sure you scrap all those important first grade memories. First day. The first day of any school year is important and a great scrapping opportunity. Take a photo as you leave your home in case the ones in front of the school don't come out. Some things to consider, including on your first day layout, are whether or not the child is entering a new school. Is he or she having separation anxiety or feeling happy to see their friends? If possible, try to get a picture of yourself with a friend. If you will be riding the school bus, you may want to get a photo of him or her getting on the bus. If you drop off the first day and then he or she rides the bus on other days, you may want to split these into separate layouts. You may want to include the name of the teacher in the journaling, or you can choose to wait and include this later in the year after your child has gotten to know. In many schools, a professional class photo is taken early in the year and parents have the opportunity to purchase it. If you have one of these, don't forget to include it in the scrapbook. If the photographer does not print the names on the photograph, do your best to include them in the journaling. This is also a good time to include a few thoughts about how the year is going and what the teacher is like. School parties and events. During the school year, there are special events such as birthdays and holiday parties. Whenever you have the opportunity to be in the classroom for one of these events, take lots of pictures and scrap your memories of the event. In our school, parents have the opportunity to come into the classroom for one or two other events during the school year. If you have this opportunity, make sure you bring a camera and take a few pictures. In addition to the event you are attending, try to get photos of the classroom, decorations, and your child with the teacher or one or more friends. School projects. In the younger grades, children make many projects in class, art class, and at home. As parents, we would like to save them all, but space considerations make that impractical. A good way to preserve the memory of these projects is to photograph them. Consider making a collage layout with many first grade projects or a layout featuring a single special project. You might want to include a photo of your child proudly holding the special project. Last day. Don't forget to bring your camera when you pick up your child on the last day and capture the tears at leaving a beloved teacher or the thrill of escaping the summer break. Either way, don't forget to journal about these feelings on the last day of the first grade. So you all are in fifth grade. You remember all the things that happened in your first grade. Remember all those things and include in your journal. Find out, even remember the adventures you have made during this year and write it down. Welcome to Dr. Jaya's virtual school. LOIC Level 5 Non-Academic Week 3. Beauty. Language skills. Listening. Beauty so bold. Beauty so bold. They say beauty is the eye of the beholder. And from what I saw, it couldn't get more bolder. Because what I saw even words couldn't spell. She was like a slice of heaven. Man, her beauty was one of a kind, but I can only behold it because she will never be mine. Her eyes were so dazzling her skin so soft. I can see her, I can feel her, I can dream of her, I adorn her, but I cannot hold her because she is a rainbow. A bow that is not a bow, and a rain that is not a rain, and still it is a rainbow. Beauty is so bold. While listening, understand to hear properly the R controlled vowels. R controlled vowels are the words which have R in it, like car, jar, scar, star, card. So, in this exposition, what are the words that have R controlled vowels? Find out. Speaking. Feeding the birds. Feeding the birds. The joy of fresh falling snow. I hurry to get outdoors with lots of grey and plastic pail. I begin to do my course. Birds of all different colors arrive to sample my seeds. I ladle out an assortment to supply their hungry needs. Blue jays, brighted red cardinals, woodpeckers, timid little titmouse, does, wrens, even a grey squirrel. There are feeders all around my house. God gave us these beautiful birds to put joy into our winter day. Feeding them fills me with pleasure because I want them all to stay. While speaking this exposition, understand the speaking skills. Use the correct form of words. Means this may mean, for example, changes in the tense, case, or gender. If you want, you can change and rewrite the exposition. Poem. God can. Give the daisies a beautiful face. Print the skies a lovely shade of blue. Help the birds to build a nest. Who can give courage to you? God can. Help the smallest insect find food. Empty the ocean of all its sand. Give a new mother needed strength. Send a rain cloud to dry land. God can. Help a butterfly leave her cocoon. Open the petals of a flower pod. Show a rabbit where to find food in the snow. Make a cornstalk tall and straighten as a rod. God can. The miracle of birth of all living things, the farmer to know when his crops to sow, the sunshine to warm a cold day, the ability of a tiny seed to sprout and grow. God can. The bright colors of a rainbow after a thunderstorm flash across the sky. The reds, pinks, and purples of a sunset tinting the clouds as they scurry and sail by. God can. The seasons of growing until harvest the ripening of a watermelon. What summer fun! We take all these things for granted, but none of us can get this done. But God can. The wonder of rain changing to snow, and Akron making a very huge tree. How all the people in the world, there is none alike. Rain waters the earth, its beauty we can see. God can. I believe God can and does help us through a prayer each day. He will guide us and help us if that prayer we will only take time to say, God, I know you can. I believe in God and I know He does all these wonderful things for us to enjoy, and we must take time to thank Him for all He has done and will continue to do for us. Every beautiful thing on the world, in the nature, is created by God. So, little children, understand this beauty of nature and protect this nature. Story: The Happy Trumpet. There was once a land in which the sound of a magic trumpet could be heard everywhere. The music ensured that there would be happiness and joy for all. However, one day the trumpet disappeared, and everyone in that land ended up feeling sad. No one did anything except for a little girl who went off determined to find the trumpet. She asked everywhere, and then someone took her to see the wise old man of the mountains. The man told her that the trumpet was in the well of shadows, and he gave her a violin which might turn out to be useful. When the girl arrived at the well, she found some musicians next to it. They were playing sad tunes, and she went over to play with them. However, on hearing such sad music, the girl realized that no one, including the trumpet, would want to come out of the well to be greeted by that kind of atmosphere. So she started to play the cheeriest, happiest music she could. She didn't give up and even managed to cheer up the other musicians. Together, they improved the atmosphere around the world so much that the trumpet came out more joyful than ever. And once again, happiness started to that land, and it returned. The whole happiness returned because of the girl. Thanks to this, the girl realized the value of offering joy to others, it being the best remedy for those who are sad. And from that day onwards, in that land, anyone who saw someone looking sad would send them their happiest smiles along with a little music. So, the value of this story is, it is very important to transmit cheerfulness to others. Yes, we like children being happy, we like elders being happy, and we like old people being happy. Everybody likes music. So, give the joyful, happy music. Eight-letter words starting with C. C words, 8-letter words like cackerel, cackling, caddies, and there are many words which are given in the workbook. Read them understand them, learn them, and write them. Vocabulary. Places people like to go. There are different kinds of places in the world, different places where everybody would like to go, but some of them are here. You can learn the spellings of these places and you can give your own words or the names of the places in the workbook. For example, some of the places which you would like to go and see are Amsterdam, Turkey, New Zealand, Baja California, Tasmania, Berlin, Florida, Las Vegas, Romagna, Marseille, Beijing, Lisbon, South Africa, South Korea, Burma, Iceland, Ireland, Czech Republic, London, Malaysia, India, Paris, San Francisco, Panama, Rio de Janeiro, Morocco, Rome, Tokyo. There are many places people like to go. These are the famous places where many people have gone and are going and will go. So go, learn the names of these places and you write the names of places which you like. Journal writing. Sunshine makes me feel. I felt for her in summer, my lovely summer girl. From summer she is made, my lovely summer girl. I would like to spend a winter with my lovely summer girl, but I am never warm enough for my lovely summer girl. It's summer when she smiles. I am laughing like a child. It's the summer of our lives. We will contain it for a while. She holds the heat, the breeze of the summer in the circle of her hand. I would be happy with this summer if it's all we ever had. Here is a little girl who says that she likes her mother and she wants to be with the mother. Spring passes and one remembers one's innocence. Summer passes and one remembers one's exuberance. Autumn passes and one remembers one's reverence. Winter passes and one remembers one's perseverance. But then all fall comes, kicking summer out on its treacherous act, as it always does one day, sometime after the midpoint of summer. It stays a while like an old friend that you have missed. It settles in the way an old friend will settle into your favorite chair and take out his pipe and light it and then fill the afternoon with stories of places he has seen and things he has done since last he saw you. So summers are very good. We can see beautiful things during summer, but still it is very hot. So some like summer, some don't like, but summer always comes. So dear children, you write your experiences of summer and sunshine in your journal. Welcome to Dr. Jaya's virtual school. Lloyd, level 5, non-academic week, language skills. Non-academic week 4. Listening. Believe in yourself. Text analysis. You listen to this text and do the analysis of your own. Write the meaning of this exposition in your own words. You analyze the text the way you want. Here is the exposition. Believe in yourself. Author Emily Matthews. Believe in yourself, in the power you have to control your own life day by day. Believe in the strength that you have deep inside, and your faith will help show you the way. Believe in tomorrow and what it will bring. Let a hopeful heart carry you through. For the things will work out if you trust and believe. There's no limit to what you can do. Speaking. God gives good gifts. Put the words together in correct order. Now, in God gives good gifts, speak to your friends this exposition and try to arrange the word in a good order form. Speak to your friend. Sometimes we can't see the forest for the trees. Christians need to spend more time on their knees, seeking answers to their prayers, the desires of our hearts. He really cares. Be anxious for nothing, but lift your request in prayer with thanksgiving, and God will do the rest. We have not because we ask not, is what the Bible says, but God will answer if you are righteous in all your ways. He gives only good gifts to His children who obey, following Him in faith, answering when they pray. He knows the plans He has for us, and His will is always best. But sometimes we have to follow our heart in order to know the rest. For God's the one who puts the desire in our hearts for the things we seek. So the end result will be a great blessing, giving God glory week after week. And when the answer nudges more at your inner soul, God's peace will assure His answer and goal. No harm will befall us when we obey God's command. There's a proper time and procedure. Just put it in God's hand. Though a man's misery weighs heavily upon his heart, the Holy Spirit will comfort until it's time to impart. Then the outcome will be more than we could ever guess. God loves His children dearly and is ready to bless. So, dear children, speak to your friend about the things, about the gifts that God gives you, and put all of them in a correct word order and write it in your workbook. Here is a poem. What you see is not always what you see. Carol Jick has written this poem. Read the poem aloud. Sitting alone in one night, I watched a man leaving stumble as he reached the door. I eyed the mishap with sympathy and clarity, piercing misery, giving support with objectivity. We all harbor internal traits some would deny exist, not discussed or admitted, that we tried to resist. Extraordinary insight is a gift that should be treasured. Its value cannot be scientifically or objectively measured. Its intrinsic worth is that it seeks and finds truth. With deeper understanding, it rejects easy answers. It examines seemingly common occurrences for proof of the source that triggers commonplace incidents, effectively evading the facade, framing human events. This remarkable insight does not see the future, it cannot predict. It's a precious tool absent fear, threat, or conflict. Gifted upon an individual by a nameless, mystifying entity. As you observe life, what you see is not always what you see. So recite this poem and write the meaning of the poem in your own words. Story. The magic window. The main characters of this story is a sick boy and his best friend. Setting is when and where, the boy's house and the school. Problem is the boy was very ill. He had to spend all day in bed and he could not hang out with his friends. So make a story map of this story. Let us read the story. Once upon a time, there was a little boy who became very ill. He had to spend all day in bed, unable to move. Because other children weren't allowed to come near him, he suffered greatly and spent his days feeling sad and blue. There wasn't much he could do except look out of the window. Time passed and his feeling of despair just grew. Until one day he saw a strange shape in the window. It was a penguin eating a sausage sandwich. The penguin squeezed in though the open window, said good afternoon to the boy, turned around and left again. Of course, the boy was very surprised. He was still trying to work out what had happened when outside his window he saw a monkey in a nappy, busy blowing up a balloon. At first, the boy asked himself what that could possibly be. But after a while, as more and more crazy-looking characters appeared out the window, he burst out laughing and found it hard to stop. What's all these things? He felt, and then anyone wanting to stop laughing would never be helped by seeing a pig playing a tambourine, an elephant jumping on a trampoline, or a dog wearing a pair of glasses and talking about nothing except politics. The little boy didn't tell anyone about this because who would have believed him? Even so, those strange characters ended up putting joy back in his heart and his body. Before long, his health had improved so much that he was able to go back to school again. There he got to talk to his friends and tell them all the strange things he had seen. While he was talking to his best friend, he saw something sticking out of his friend's school bag. The boy asked his friend what it was, and he was so insistent that finally his friend had to show him what was in the bag. There, inside, were all the fancy dress suits and disguises that his best friend had been using to try to cheer the little boy up. And from that day on, the little boy always did his best to make sure that no one felt sad and alone. Value of this story is friends are for cheering up and you up in your worst moments. So good friends are rare. Keep them with care. 8-letter words starting with D. Learn some of the 8-letter words starting with D and use them in proper sentences like dabblers, dabbling. You have defiest, daffodil, daintily, daintified, dairyman, dairyman, daileries, dailying, damaging, and damnific. Here are some vocabulary words which are common substances. All the common substances especially are gases, vapors, liquids and solids. Here we understand some of the vocabulary words like gases and vapors like nitrogen, oxygen, ozone, air, CO2, H2O, CH4 are propane, he, Ne and NH3. Liquids, H2O, many different oils, compositions of gasoline, names such as pentane, hexane, heptane, and compositions of detergents. There are different names for solids too, like non-metals, inorganic, carbon, baking soda, bleach, oxides, and iron oxide, aluminum oxide, copper carbonate, minerals such as KCl, and solids which are non-metals and organic too, like starch, sugar, and vinegar, alcohol, vitamin A, vitamin B1 and B12, vitamin C, D, E, and K. Solids like metals like aluminum, iron, steel, stainless steel, copper, and tungsten, silver, and coal. All these are the common substances. Learn them and use them properly. Journal writing. Childhood memories. Write your childhood memories. They can be. Take the time to think about the question and try to make the most of your answer. Give a general description of your childhood. What was life like for you? What are your very earliest memories? Describe any childhood ailment or injuries you had. Or what was family life like as a child? How did you feel you fit into your family? Describe your favorite toy. What did it look like? How did it feel? Describe your favorite books growing up. What made them special for you? Describe your favorite game growing up. Describe a specific school memory from your elementary years. Write about your best friend as a child and the experiences you had together. What has happened to that friendship since childhood? Describe your interest in growing up. Who made your life miserable and what did they do to make it so rough? Or describe your favorite foods as a child. What did you eat then and you no longer eat now? What was the biggest trouble you got into as a child? Describe what you did or didn't do to deserve what happened to you. Or try what was your greatest childhood accomplishment? How did it make you feel? What influence do you think it had on your life since? Describe what you did or where went as a child when you wanted to feel safe. Describe your personality as a child. In what ways has it changed as you have gotten older? In what ways has it stayed the same? Describe what your parents were like when you were a child. What was your relationship like with them? How has your opinion of your parents changed as you have grown older? What other relatives besides your immediate family do you remember as a child? Describe your most interesting relative. Describe something that people would be surprised to know about your childhood. Describe some of the cultural influences in your childhood, such as music, television, movies, plays, art, or writing. Describe the home you grew up in. If you lived in several different homes, describe one or discuss the reasons for the frequent moves. Were you moving up or working your way down? Describe a family vacation. Where did you go? Why did you go there? What did you do? How did you travel? Dear friends, understand and write the answers for all these questions. Make it in a proper essay and write it in your journal. Journal writing is a very good exercise, and remembering your childhood memories will be the best way to express in your own journal. It will be useful for you when you grow up and want to write an autobiography. Thank you. Welcome to Dr. Jaya's virtual school, LOIC Level 5 Non-Academic Week. Non-Academic Week 5 Language Skills, Childhood, Listening, a good play. Pick up rhyming words from listening a comprehension, a good play. A Good Play by Robert Louis Stevenson. We built a ship upon the stairs, all made of the back bedroom chairs, and filled it full of sofa pillows to go a-sailing on the billows. We took a saw and several nails and water in the nursery pails. And Tom said, "Let us also take an apple and a slice of cake," which was enough for Tom and me to go a-sailing on till tea. We sailed along for days and days and had the very best of plays. But Tom fell out and hurt his knee, so there was no one left but me. The rhyming words in this exposition, a poem called A Good Play, is stairs, chairs, pillows, billows, nails, pails, take, cake, me and tea, days, plays, and knee and me. Speaking, creature feature. Speak to your friends. I am taking a chance when I turn on the TV because it's not Bugs and Daffy that I want to see. I am taking on my nightmares, one Shrek at a time, Dracula, the Wolfman, and Frankenstein. I turn off the lights when the film begins That ghoulish moment may not come again. Look, the mummy is alive and is out to kill. The creature is loose, hiding in the Amazon's wool. What if vampires really are the walking dead? Then I had better have enough garlic to saturate my bed. You can never tell where terror abides. And just like the movies, there is nowhere to hide. Suddenly, during a commercial, there are heavy footsteps on the floor. If it's a vampire, I better not open the door. Alas, I have been smitten by the delicious spell of dread. I better turn off the TV and go to bed. So, dear friends, speak to your friends about the TV program which you have seen, which might be a horror one. This creature feature has been written by Joel Barolina. You also write about, speak this to your friends and write about a horror movie which you have seen on TV, if at all you have seen. Here is a poem on childhood, Kids Who Are Different by Digby Olfe. Here's to the kids who are different, the kids who don't always get A's, the kids who have ears twice the size of their peers and noses that go on for days. Here's to the kids who are different, the kids they call crazy or dumb, the kids who don't fit with the guts and the grit, who dance to a different drum. Here's to the kids who are different, the kids with the mischievous streak, for when they have grown, as history is shown, it's their difference that makes them unique. Read the poem, understand, pick up the rhyming words and write the poem's meaning in your own words. Story. August heat. The value of the story is small daily renunciations are what develop strength and willpower. Let us see a small mouse. What does it do? August Heat was a little city mouse who lived peacefully in a big house. The house had all the comfort any mouse could ever dream of. There was always warm water to bathe in, hot food, plenty of clothes and whatever else. A rather unusual kind of mouse lived with August. His name was Percy Weary, and despite all those comforts, every day he would give something up. He could quite easily wash in cold water as if it were warm, or chew leeks as though they were hums of cheese. The worst was when he tried to convince others that acting in this way would be for his own good. Come on, man, you will make yourself stronger. You are becoming a real softy, Percy would say to him. And poor August would turn away, snuggle into his blanket, and read a good book, wondering how there could be such stupid people around. Misfortune would have it that one night so much snow fell on the city that our two friends' little mouse house was completely snowed in and cut off from the outside world. They tried to get out, but the cold was intense and they did not think they could dig a tunnel through so much snow. They decided to wait it out. The days went by and still the snow remained. Now there was no food left. Percy endured it quite well, but August, deprived of his hot baths, his food, and his warm shelter, was on the verge of losing control. He was a cultured kind of a mouse who had studied widely. He knew that he wouldn't be able to stand more than 3 days without food. This was the same amount of time they had worked out they would need to dig a tunnel through a snow. They now had no choice but to get digging. But as soon as he touched that cold snow, August turned away. He couldn't do it, not with something so terribly cold, not even as hungry as he was, not even knowing that he would soon die. When he opened his eyes, he thought he was in heaven. The face of an angel was smiling at him. But then, with great joy, he realized that it was just a nurse. She told him they had been treating him for days, ever since a very brave mouse had arrived at the hospital, his 4 legs frozen, and given instructions on where to find August. Then the brave mouse had passed out. When August ran to thank Percy for his help, he found him standing up, having greatly recovered. Percy had lost several fingers and ear, but he looked cheerful enough. August felt very guilty since he hadn't lost a thing. Percy told him, "Don't worry. If it hadn't been for those fingers and that ear, I wouldn't be there here either. What better use could they have had?" Of course, they continued to be great friends, but August no longer thought of Percy as an idiot. By Percy's side, he set about regaining control over his own pampered and demanding little body, each day giving up one of those unnecessary comforts of modern mouse life. Eight-letter words starting with E. There are many words starting with E. Learn them, like earldoms, earlship, earrings, earphone, earthmat, earthpea, easiness, eateries, and ebonized. Learn the words. Vocabulary. Elfery of nature, that is, words found in nature. Here are the words starting with A that are found in nature, like abundant, animism, aquatic, archaic, array, autumn, awareness, awesome. Words starting with B, barren, beauty, bees, boredom, boulder, bountiful, brilliant, brook, buoyancy, but, butterfly, and buzz. Words started with C, celestial, cliff, climate, contagious, clouds, current, cordelia, cosmography, crater, conspicuous, crucial. Words starting with D in nature, deft, demise, disposable, destructive, desert, deplorable, dynamics. Words starting with E, earthquake, earthy, eclipse, ecological, experiment, efficient, exclusive, Esker, evergreen, environment, endangered, erosion, and electrifying. Nature words starting with F. Fall, follow, forming, fertile, fierce, flood, fog, foliage, forest. Words starting with G. Glacier, gorgeous, grassland, gravity, growth, gusty. Words starting with H. Habitat, hail, healthy, hibernate, horizon, hurricane, hygiene. Words starting with I. Words starting with I. Iceberg, imitation, indigenous, innate, intimate, intense. Words starting with JKO. Juniper, keen, landform, land, logging, and leaves. Words starting with M. Magical, magnificence, magnificent, marine, massive, meteor, migratory, mimesis, moon, mountain, mushroom. Words starting with N and O. Nascent, native, natural, nature, neglected, nurture, original, and organism. Words starting with P and Q. Pantheism, parasite, passionate, planet, pollutant, protection, popular, prairie, predator, preservation, pristine, productive, quiet. Words starting with R. Radioactive, range, renewable, representation, reserve, resilient, resources, reproductive, ridge, river, rock, and rotting. Words starting with S. Safe, sanctuary, say, scenic, season, smells, solar, snow, spring, and soluble. Words starting with T. Taint, tarn, temperate, toxic, tropical, tsunami, typical, and terrain. Words starting with U. Ultimate, underdeveloped, unique, upliftment, uproot. Words starting with V. Value, variety, versatile, vigilant, visible, vista, volcano, vulnerable. And words starting with WX and Z. Warmth, weather, wildlife, winter, worldwide, gyroscope, and Julius. Dear friends, learn these words of nature and write them in your workbook. Next, journal writing. Write about your dad. Say, my dad. Shreya told us all about her dad. Why don't you tell us about somebody in your family or about your dad? You could include some of the following information: their name and age, what they look like, their daily routine, their job, what they do in the evening, what they do at the weekends. So write about your dad and also few of your other family members. Welcome to Dr. Jaya's virtual school. Like Level 5 non-academic week. Non-academic week 6, language skills, country life. Listening, grandmother's apron. Find out the syllables in each of the vocabulary words which you pick up. Grandmother's apron is an exposition written by unknown but submitted by Hayseed. The principal use of grandma's apron was to protect the dress underneath, but along with that, it served as a pot holder for removing hot pans from the oven. It was wonderful for drying children's tears, and on occasion was even used for cleaning out dirty ears. From the chicken coop, the apron was used for carrying eggs, fussy chicks, and sometimes half-hatched eggs to be finished in the warming oven. When company came, those aprons were ideal hiding places for shy kids. And when the weather was cold, Grandma wrapped it around her arms. Those big old aprons wiped many a perspiring brow bent over the hot wood stove. Chips and kindling wood were brought into the kitchen in that apron. From the garden it carried all sorts of vegetables. After the peas had been shelled, it carried out the hulls. In the hall, the apron was used to bring in apples that had fallen from the trees. When unexpected company drew up the road, it was surprising how much furniture that old apron could dust in a matter of seconds. When dinner was ready, Grandma walked out onto the porch, waved her apron, and the men knew it was the time to come in from the fields to dinner. It will be a long time before someone invents something that will replace that old-time apron that serves so many worthwhile purposes. Remember, Grandma used to set her hot-baked apple pies on the windowsill to cool. Her granddaughters set theirs on the windowsill to thaw. They would go crazy now trying to figure out how many germs were on that apron. I don't think I ever caught anything from an apron except love. Speaking, Grandpa's ornery old mule. When you are speaking about your grandfather's mule, use the register or language variety that is appropriate to the situation and the relationship to the conversation partner with whomever you are speaking. See the situation, appropriate situation, and speak about your grandfather to them. Here is a piece where a boy is speaking about Grandpa's ornery old mule. This is submitted by Hayseed and written by Ed and Kathy. Hey, I am an ordinary old mule, but I still got a few festy years left in me. I can outflow those younger guys. I stop, rest, do as I please, take my time, you see. Out there in a field about daylight, we start early down a long row. That old farmer don't walk very fast. We just kind of go rather slow. The sun begins to beat down. We turn the soil up, lift it out of hard ground, takes a spell to reach the other side. Rest a while. Continue, make another round. Once in a while I get stubborn. Sometimes I bark on plowing out there. That farmer can't get me to move. It's a tiresome job, all that gear I got to wear. He commences to gee and haw. His face begins to wear a scowl, wanting me to hurry and move on. He has an old ragged handkerchief to wipe his brow. The clods of dirt are heavy and don't move. The farmer has trouble as he stumbles along. Just the two of us working in the field. Off in the woods I hear a mockingbird singing a song. We got to get this field turned, completed by nightfall at the end of day. Springtime of the year we plant a big crop. I overheard that old farmer say, over the years we have plodded along, just him, and of course couldn't do it without me. Every year he hooks me up to that plow, and behind me there's where he will be. Over the field we slowly made our way all day long. Every step I made, he was right behind me, trailing along. Only in the fence rows were there any shade. Not always the same field, but the same rich brown dirt. Back and forth we go. As he wrestles with that heavy push plow, I mosey along, taking my time, going kind of slow. He bumbles a lot, mostly to himself. The plow slipping and sliding in his cold used hand. The loose dirt gets into his work shoes. Hard way to make a living plowing this rocky land. He never seems to want to quit. I have seen him almost fall, but we have got it. The saw turned over, raising corn over 6 feet tall. Someday we will hang up this gear, retire the plow, and won't work anymore. Just stand in the shade, picking our teeth down there in front of the barn door. Lunch is over. I see him coming. He is ready once again to go plow. So guess we're still in business, but I am too young to retire anyhow. The farmer wore faded patched overalls as we trotted along plowing under all the wheels. On his head he wore a sweat-stained old felt, that preparing the ground for tobacco or more corn seeds. That was many years ago. They are now resting by heaven's golden shore. I would love to see them plowing once again. In my memories, they will remain forevermore. This was written in 2008 by the writer. He says, I wrote this poem for my grandpa and his mule, doing it in a manner that was the mule telling the story. They worked daily during spring and summer, planting a crop in the big field on his farm. It was covered with a lots of rock, which made plowing hard for him. Every step the mule made, he was right behind him, walking too. Dear friends, why don't you speak about your grandfather's job or hobby or habit to your friends, and also write about your grandfather. Poem That Weathered Barn. Author Nan Sexton. Submitted by Homespun 44. Setting out beside the shade tree, just down from the old cow lane, is an age-old, timeless reverie, vintage old and country made, under autumn's rich umbrella, in its shades of red and green, protected from the seasons, summer's rain and winter's screams. It's all withered now, and aging rust has done its job quite well. Ivy plants have done their creeping, spiders spin there, can you tell? There's a scent that somehow lingered. Through the years it stood alone. Little does it know its fingered memories past of hearth and hope. It's to me an artist's render, etched in lines of purest gold, bringing scenes so sweet and tender, picture now of days of old. It won't don a lighted gallery with its carpet royal lead, for it's meant just for the country and its fields of apple red. But that weathered band is beauty to my eyes. Each time I see standing there is outlined duty, that old friend that welcomes me. Story Squidge Attack. To care for the natural world, we need to act responsibly in our everyday actions, no matter how small. Everyone knows that the history of our planet changed forever sometime after the Beijing Olympic Games. The world's coast and seas filled up with a very dangerous and polluting species of creature which looked like a squid but was called a squidge. The squidges were everywhere and impossible to catch. But the worst aspect of it was that they were filling up the seas with oil, tins, paper, and all kinds of rubbish. It was a terrible situation. The whole planet was quickly contaminated, and advanced investigation teams and hunting expeditions were set up to try to deal with this new plague. But no one could even get close to catching a squid. Finally, the first person to manage it was a boy called Caesar Tiddler. Caesar lived in a small fishing village, and when he held up his quiz at a press conference, he became the most famous boy in the world. The small fishing village was overrun by scientists and government investigators who came from all over the planet to study the species. Everything was prepared for a post-mortem to be done on the squid, an operation that would be watched on live television around the world. Imagine the amazement when, on cutting the skids open, a tiny spaceship the size of a shoe was found inside, and inside that spaceship were some Martians. Now, these Martians turned out to be a quite charming, amusing, and clever little chaps. Before long, they were busy talking to governments who were all very angry at the way the Martians had been messing up the planet. We came from a planet that was going to be destroyed, the Martians began to explain. The government expected some kind of explanation for the Martians having behaved in such an uncivilized fashion. We liked the earth so much that we spent many days spying on how you human beings behave. We thought that would help us to blend in if we came here, and it would help us all get along happily together. That's why, after seeing you dump tins, paper, and oil, we invented some inexpensive machines to do just that. We hid them inside the disguise of a squid, and we tried to live happily there in peace. Are you all happy? Can we stay here? Finally, everyone, including the billions watching on TV, were red with embarrassment, remembering the last time they had thrown away a piece of paper or their car had leaked some oil on the road. The Martian squid men waited for an answer, but no one uttered a word. And all of us who saw it, we still remember how a few unsuspecting little Martians made us realize how little we cared for our planet. So, dear friends, don't litter, don't throw the papers everywhere, don't spill the oil in the sea, keep the planet clean, keep your surroundings clean, keep your house clean. 8-letter words starting with F. There are many words given in your workbook. Here are few for you, like feasible, fascingly, failures, faintish, fairyism, and fallacy. Learn the words, 8-letter words starting with F, and write them down. Here is vocabulary of time words. Time words starting with A are like anti-volite, after time, air time, altimeters, antimeters, antimetabolic, altimetry, and you can learn anything, anytime. Time words starting with B, C, D, E. Bedtime, bedtime, between time. Cent time, centimeters, chow times, and then you have daytime, dinner time, down times, dream times, and essentiaments. You have words with FHL, flexi time, flex time, half times, harvest times, in time. Then you have for time and half time, long time, lunchtime, lifetime. Words starting with M and N. Maritime, mealtime, meantime, multimetallic, multimedia, mist time, night time, noon time. Then we have words starting with OPR, often, oftentimes, overtimes, pastime, playtime, ragtime, real time, and retired time. Time words with yes. School time, seat times, sentimentality, sentimentalized, showtime, sometime, springtime, summertime, support times. Time words with tea, tea time, time card, timekeepers, timekeeping, timeously, time out, timepieces, timers, time saving, timely, timeless, time workers, timetables, time scales, time servers, time surveying. Time words with UWZ, unsentimental, untimely, wartime, and winter time, and zone time. Dear friends, journal writing. Write here about your mom. But let me tell you what are the basic functions of a mother. Young people want their parents to trust them, yet it is not the primary responsibility of parents to trust their children, but to understand them. The more that parents understand their children, the more the children will trust the parents. Understanding sons and daughters comes by demonstrating a listening heart. One of the Hebrew words for understand, Shema, means to hear intelligently. The mother has the best opportunity to be the listener throughout the day. Here are the famous 5 functions of the mother. The mother is the heart of the home. Scriptures identify the husband as the head of the marriage. Similarly, the wife can be compared to the heart of the marriage. The head and the heart are vital both to the functioning of the body and the successful operation of a home. The idea that only the head does the thinking is now an antiquated concept. Researchers have discovered that the neurons which store memory with which we think are not only in the brain but also in the heart. Scriptures affirm this concept as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Just as the heart gives vital and continuous signals to the head, so the wife should communicate what she sees and hears to her husband so that together they can make wise decisions. For this communication to take place, the husband needs to schedule times for meaningful discussion with his wife about their home education program. The mother is the light of learning. By exercising a listening heart, the mother will know what character qualities, academic studies, and practical skills need to be developed in her children. With these in mind, she is able to make a list of recommendations for the husband to write out in a daily assignment list. Practical training is provided. The mother's role as a light is stated in the following scripture. My son, keep thy father's commandment and forsake not the law of thy mother. For the commandment is a lamp and the law is light, and reproofs of instructions are the way of life. So, she is the light of the home. The mother is a learner teacher. Many mothers feel inadequate to educate their own children, especially when they reach the high school and college learning levels. What these mothers fail to realize is that children who are praised for their learning, attitudes, and progress can easily go beyond their parents in learning achievement. Mothers are also encouraged to train their older children to work with younger children. When such mentoring takes place, the older ones not only learn academics but also develop teaching skills and begin their own preparation for parenting. It is also said that the parents as teachers but as enthusiastic learners along with their sons and daughters. When subjects come up that are beyond the experience or the understanding of the parent, they are encouraged to search them out or bring in others who have expertise in these particular areas. The mother is a creative recorder. In order to validate learning, it must be documented. There are several creative ideas the mother can use in order to keep valuable records for each child. A favorite method is the minute book approach. Through minute book, children are taught to comprehend and condense large amounts of material in creatively designed little booklets. Children are also motivated to better achievement by meaningful charts, graphs, and records. These can be started by the mother and continued by the older children. In the process, penmanship, neatness, accuracy, thoroughness, creativity, and other qualities can be developed. The mother is a coordinator of responsibilities. A mother's first thought about home education is usually, how can I educate my children and still get all my work done? The secret of home education is creatively teaching children to enjoy work rather than to seek after fun by turning daily responsibilities into character classrooms. For example, washing dishes can be transformed into lessons on gratefulness, doing the dishes in appreciation for one who made the meal, thoroughness, getting all the dishes and utensils clean, or organization, putting the dishes in the right places. A wise mother realizes that there are seasons in her life. By investing in her children's lives, she will reap the rewards of their wisdom and good character. So, dear children, write about your mother in your journal. Write all the 5 responsibilities which are discussed here, how your mother does these responsibilities.